guys, oh my god, I'm at the DNC, I made it! I have no idea who I'm gonna meet today, or what's gonna happen, but we'll see. We are going in. It's about to get crunk in here. Videos about sex education.
Oh, that's great.
And I talk about feminist stuff.
Well, my mom's here. She should talk about the sex education she gave me as a kid. And my
so
mom is a little Angelino, for crying out loud.
Oh my goodness.
You have a lot of connections with my mother.
Oh my god.
Sex education.
I gotta hit up your mom after this.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about the sex education stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, because I was reading about the bill.
I want you to know my chief of staff is having a heart attack over there. He's like, you're going to talk to the senator about sex education.
It's not okay.
Let's go there.
I mostly just wanted to say thanks. You actually introduced a bill,
yes,
which is really cool. I was reading that it has a 3% chance of actually passing.
Yeah. But you know what? It's a start.
Yeah.
When the civil rights legislation was first put forward, it didn't have a shot. It didn't have a shot in hell, but movements grew.
Yeah.
We're a nation right now where we're denying science, we're denying access to facts and education.
Yes.
And that is ridiculous. In fact, it causes problems.
Yes.
It costs tax. This is the fiscally...
It's expensive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The fiscally responsible thing to do is to educate people, give people the tools they need to be safe and healthy, as opposed to paying what we pay in medical expenses on the back end because people are being denied education and living, making decisions out of ignorance.
Yes, all the yes. Just got word that I may be able to interview Senator Gillibrand really quick. I'm going to talk to her about paid family leave and equal pay for women, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay, I have a little bit of maybe a tricky question for you. I get asked all the time by people who think that, you know, equal pay, we already have it.
It's not fake, and so if you just test it, if you're female and there's a male doing the exact same job, ask him how much she makes and see how much she does. And unfortunately for most women in America, they make 77 cents on every dollar for the exact same work. And if you're an African American woman or a Latina, you're getting paid even less. So it's a disgrace.
Is about overturning Citizens United.
So I just left Bernie's speech, which was, holy shit, amazing. I'm like high on it.
This is my 4th political convention, and I've been to a ton of rallies, and what you'll notice is that women at the conservative events tend to be, like, I don't know what the right way to describe it is, but they're like all very thin, they're like busty with like long blonde hair. There's some brunettes, but
they all look like Fox News anchors.
They totally look like Fox News anchors, like a ton of them.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. I think, here's my theory. People who are attractive, who grow up with good looks, have a privilege, right? Where it's easier for them to get things, it's easier to get jobs, they're treated better, and so they think work must be easy, why can't everyone do it?
You think it really is just about looks? They're really white.
That tends to be much more white, but I think that has to do with more because it's rural.
They've spent millions and millions and millions of dollars attacking her for years. Citizens United was truthfully created to attack Hillary. Oh my god. Oprah's staying at the window. Why is Oprah, the Queen of America, staying at a window?
Oh my god, yes. Today was the bestest of days. My little nerd heart is so happy. It's so very tired. I was awoken this morning with a knock on the door that security has to come in and sweep all of these rooms. Nathan! Do you know who you're gonna be talking to yet?
Hopefully just Obama, I don't know.
Obama, please come say hi to us. So I am headed back to the floor because they are about to officially announce Clinton's nomination. Everyone in place looks at me like I'm crazy for filming myself. Well, I couldn't get onto the floor because I lost my Google people, and I guess I have the road past me. I'm hoping to talk to Representative Bonamici about gun control, see if I can find her. I feel like there are a few things that we're not talking about enough, and one of those is the relationship between domestic violence and guns.
Absolutely need to make sure that people who have been convicted of stalking or domestic violence can't go buy a gun. Yeah, there's legislation to do that, and the Supreme Court just upheld that.
Yeah.
That is constitutional. You could say that that's not somebody's right, to somebody convicted of domestic violence or stalking to go buy a gun. So that's another step that we can take, and I'm going to continue to work on it. Do you know I'm the only woman in the Oregon delegation?
What? I didn't know that. I shouldn't be surprised, I guess. I mean, when you look out over Congress, it is mostly men. We are at the Planned Parenthood party in Philadelphia. We've got some guests who have decided to join. Honestly, like, get a life. I'm actually vlogging.
Oh, you're vlogging, you're better.
Say hi.
Hello.
Hey. Oh my God, you guys, my panel went late, and now I'm late for Cecile. Found a kind human to expedite the process. So on the topic of the Hyde Amendment,
yes.
Why do you think that that is such an important issue for us to be paying attention to? Hillary's been talking about it a lot. I feel like there's a lot more buzz even though it's been around for a while. Like, why is it so important?
Well, it's important because obviously for decades it's meant that poor women couldn't get access, or low-income women couldn't get access to abortion in the same way that other women could.
Right.
And it's exciting because a lot of the push has now meant that the Democratic Party platform, for the first time, I believe, now calls for the repeal of the Hyde Amendment.
Yeah.
I think for many, many years it was just considered that this was just settled law. It was just how it was.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, it was largely the reproductive justice community that has been agitating and saying we have to change this, we have to overturn this. And it's the first time I can remember having a presidential candidate that was so forthright in saying, yeah, we do. We got to get this done.
When you're saying the reproductive community is coming in and pushing these things forward, how is that happening? Where are those conversations happening?
I think one is, they're happening at the organizational and grassroots level, but they're also happening by pushing these stories into media. And obviously social media has been huge.
Why are people so angry at Planned Parenthood for doing what I see and what millions of people see as essential, important work for a strong infrastructure in our country?
The important thing is to separate out, the vast majority of Americans love Planned Parenthood. They think it's great. 1 in 5 women have been to Planned Parenthood. I do think there's been a small group of people in this country who, they're not so much against Planned Parenthood, they are against access to safe and legal abortion. And that's what this is really driven about, is I think if they can get rid of Planned Parenthood, then they can get rid of access to abortion in America. That's what we saw happen in Texas, my home state, where they passed the most outrageous laws, and they shut down several Planned Parenthood health centers in an attempt to make abortion unavailable in the state of Texas. The good news is the Supreme Court just declared last month that it was unconstitutional because of the harm it created for women.
Do you see that as maybe setting off a snowball of other positive policies?
I hope so.
Am I being too optimistic?
No, but I'll tell you one of the most important things about that decision is, I was really honored to be at the Supreme Court for the argument, to listen to the argument. Having 3 women on the Supreme Court was a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because it was, for the first time, women's voices were really in the room. So I feel optimistic too, but then you have to be an optimist if you do this work.
Okay, I have a question for you from Twitter. This is from Right to Know. They wanted to ask you, how can we convince legislators that children need to receive consistent, quality, fact-based sex ed?
That's a really great question. What we find is if young people have access to information, they actually can make really good decisions for themselves about sex, about relationships. Legislators know this, and the frustrating thing is the American people desperately want sex education. Most of them don't think it's a bad thing for this country, but they only hear from the other side. And one of the most exciting things at Planned Parenthood is having thousands of young people, teenagers, who lobby their legislatures, lobby their school boards, lobby the Congress. We have young people fly to Washington, D.C., talk to people on Capitol Hill. Because to me, they give voice to the concerns of young people. There's never been more potential because, again, there's so many young people and they are more progressive. Look, they're changing the Democratic Party, and who knows, maybe in our lifetime, they'll change the Republican Party too.
I'm home. The DNC was a week ago. I had a few takeaways from my experience. One is that, there are a lot of people who are mad about the presidential election, and I feel like the presidential election gets so much coverage and it's what people talk about the most. But honestly, there's so much more to politics, so much more that's at stake right now, so many more issues that we will all be directly affected by that the president may have little to no impact on. Of course, the presidency is important, duh, but it's just like, there is an entire ticket of things. So if you don't want to vote for the president, that doesn't mean don't vote for everything else. Another important thing is that young people have a huge voting bloc and can have a lot of political power if we actually choose to exercise it. Except your mom. Oh.
What?